How you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler review series B's I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing it, folks, it's one of my fabled backroom reviews. Look at it, look at it, look at it. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am in my back room, which means I got a Peter Can Thunderbolt poster behind me. I do not have the crappy old ladder back here. It is in another room doing crappy old ladder stuff, like being a crappy old ladder against the wall. And if you don't understand that reference, go back and watch my first run of videos when I first started doing the reviews. It was a little bit of a running gag. But anyway, on top of all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my Cyclone 9 shirt. Woo! It's a very simple shirt. It's just black with some white letters. And the neat thing is, this is actually the tour shirt, so it's got all the tour dates on. You know, it's cool. And the funny thing is, I recently just saw these guys perform, like literally just a few days ago. And excellent band, by the way. Sort of industrial metal electronica kind of dark wave stuff with some of their stuff. I really enjoyed it. Like I've been sort of I've always liked industrial stuff, but I kind of was getting a little bit more into it this year, and this is kind of where that led me. But at the show, all the bands were really fucking good. And by the way, I have videos of all their performances. Every single band I got some videos of, because they had who were the openers? Local band called Grimm. They were excellent. I love those guys. Then there was Corvin's Breed, who I'd never heard of, and they were fucking awesome. Then you had Guillotine, who were fucking badass from Tennessee. Then after that, who was it? Clockwork Echo, who I love Clockwork Echo. I've seen them 3 times this year. And then finally you had the headliner Cyclone 9. But I got a few shirts from it. I got one from Grimm, one from Corvin's Breed, and obviously Cyclone 9. And when I went over there and I took pictures of the shirts, and when I put them next to each other, like they were all the exact same format. It was like black shirt, white lettering. But anyway, what am I going to review for you today, folks? Why are we doing it in the back room? Because, yeah, I used to do most of these reviews from the back room. Then I shifted more to the car. It was just easier. But every so often I have to review something where I can't really do it from the car very well. So, boom, we're reviewing this. It is Sriracha Ramen Noodle Soup Lobster flavor. Look at it. Look at it. So yes, I've done a number of ramen reviews. So many, in fact, that I have a ramen review playlist. Go check it out if you're interested in my take on instant noodles of all varieties. Not specifically just ramen, but, you know, sort of the more commonly used term. And I've reviewed a number of the Sriracha flavored ones. If you're not familiar with Sriracha, which I don't know how you could be, it's a hot sauce, a very famous hot sauce, beloved around the world, at least in America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in America, we fucking love this stuff. And they started doing their own hot sauce. I reviewed their normal stuff, their chicken stuff, their extra spicy, and finally, the lobster. So let's go ahead. Let's try out some lobster Sriracha ramen, because, yes. And let's see if we can't get a thing for the thumbnail. Ha 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 ha. Yep, there we go. Okay. I can see what they're going for with it. I mean, obviously there's not any actual lobster in it, but they've definitely used sort of like a lobster kind of seasoning. And, I mean, yeah, I can see where they're going from with it. It's noticeably lobster-ish flavored. Like, I think even if I didn't know off the top of my head, because I really was expecting it to maybe just be a more broader seafood kind of flavor. But no, it's, yeah. Yeah, they definitely went in more for something actually, kind of lobster flavored. Um, it's pretty good. I mean, it's still got a nice heat to it, from the sriracha. It's kind of the back of the throat heat. And, if you've never had sriracha is a more flavorful than heat oriented hot sauce. It's really, really flavorful. Just, a little extra oomph to it. And that's represented well in all of their ramen offerings that I've had so far. The only thing is that with the flavored ones, like the chicken one, the beef one, now the lobster one, they do end up having to sort of sacrifice some of that sriracha flavor, obviously, And that makes sense, of course, but it is, as somebody who really enjoys the sriracha flavor, it's a trade-off, and it's one that I'm okay with, but not necessarily one that I would prefer. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit later when I talk a little bit more about it. But I genuinely really like the Sriracha Ramen bowls. Like, you get a good amount of stuff. They're really flavorful and tasty. They're nice and filling. Like, if I'm going over there and I'm getting like some Maruchan or like some top ramen, I'm going to make two of those. Easy. Because I know that, one thing, I'm a bit of a rotunda guy. I know that one of those things isn't going to, do it for me. I'm going to need that and something else. So I'll usually just do two of those. With this, though, this will hold me. This is like a nice little snack. I enjoy it. And yeah, the noodles are solid. They've got some nice oomph to them. And at the same time, they, like, you go over there, you take it, you pour it to the fill line, pop it in the microwave, 5 minutes. I do like 5 minutes, 30 seconds, just because they're always like, oh, use room temperature water. I don't have room temperature water. I mean, I do technically because, I have like a faucet and everything, but I have well water, so no. I just use my bottled water that I have. So I, give it a few extra seconds to get it to where I need it. But no, this is actually really solid. I don't have any huge gripes with it. It's, the most enticing element to it is, of course, the lobster flavor. You don't really see plenty of seafood ramens out there. You don't see many that specify ramen. Shrimp, yeah, all the time. But lobster rather, that's a little bit more of a difference maker. And I will say I do think I like the lobster flavor over like the shrimp flavored ones for sure. And I do have to give them credit. Like I said, it tastes, it doesn't taste like fresh, savory lobster that you just pulled out of the deep. No, it's not that. But it has enough of a lobster flavor that I can give it to them. I think it actually does a pretty good job with it. And I can appreciate the fact that they're using that because they are sort of positioning themselves as a little bit more of a premium kind of ramen. So, sort of a premium flavoring. Two questions have to be asked though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I'm going to go with yes and yes. However, for myself personally, I do really like it. I think it's tasty, and like I said, I appreciate the flavors that they were able to make work with this. But this would never, for me, be a replacement for just the normal straight Sriracha Ramen. That so far has still been my favorite because I'm getting all the heat that I want, and I'm getting like a lot of flavor. And that Sriracha flavor, I love it. It's fantastic. So for me, the original stuff is still pretty much the best. The extra spicy stuff is good too if you want that heat, but again, you lose out on the flavor a little bit. With this one, it's a little bit too much of a detraction from the Sriracha flavor for me, but I would like to have it as like an occasional option. That's where I would go with this. If I, had my cabinet full of stuff, it would be mostly just the normal stuff and then like some of the flavored ones. But out of the flavored ones that I've had, this one might actually be my favorite. So, and if I'm recommending it, when it comes to the ramen reviews, I always try to work from the position of basically people like me who just don't really want to cook a lot, and so you just kind of have these things around for quick meals after work and stuff. And I think that the Sriracha ones are all really good. I haven't had one yet that I've disliked, and the lobster one continues on with that. If you're anybody else, if you're just a normal person who just wants, a ramen for your lunch at work or something, might be a bit much. But I will say it's tasty, it's filling, and the heat level is not anything ridiculous. You can definitely wolf down one of these without a lot of issue. But anyway, all that said, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your folks. You can go over there and have yourselves a truly lobster-tastic rest of your life. I haven't had lobster in forever, man. Because when do you do it, right? It's like, pretty much the only place I can think of off the top of my head would be like Red Lobster. And for one, I don't have one that's particularly close to me, and then on top of that, it's like, yeah, it's not super expensive, but it's a little bit more expensive than I'm usually going to go with. But maybe I'll do a Red Lobster review at some point. We'll see. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do can't do all the time. I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you can do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there with you in it. And the fact of the matter is that, life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit. At the time I'm doing this, we've had our first, I'm going to first consider the first proper snow of 2023 out where I'm living. We did have one day where we actually had a little bit of snow before this. But this is like proper snow, and I saw a lot of my friends on, the social medias and stuff, and they were complaining about it. Whereas for me personally, I like the snow and I like the colder weather, so, but I understand for them. It's, and even for me, when I have to go driving or whatever, it's going to be a pain in the ass, for sure. It's important when we deal with those situations. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe, you're watching this video and it's snowing whatever time you're watching it. And don't get me wrong, I fully understand why snow can and is a pain in the ass. I'm not saying I'm immune to it. But, maybe try, it's nice. It makes the landscapes really pretty. Maybe go over there, go out sledding or something like that, especially if you got kids, try to enjoy it, maybe have a snowball fight. It's definitely more difficult the older you get, because, the older you get, you gotta shovel snow, and you gotta deal with bullshit, and it's like, it's not as much fun as when you're a kid, but try to enjoy the season if you can. For me personally, one of the things that I always like to do when we get some proper snow is I like to go watch John Carpenter's The Thing. It feels extremely fitting. That's definitely what I'm going to do later today, so. Anyway. Or conversely, if you don't like the winter, depending on where you live, typically it's not going to be too long, a few months, and then you get back to spring. Bye.